but you've actually been speaking with former MAGA loyalists who are beginning to see the light.
Yeah. So I found out that there was this support group, essentially, for people who have left MAGA. And it's called Leaving MAGA is the name of the support group. And I was initially a little bit skeptical because they talked about it in cult terms, right? They offer de-radicalization resources, therapy for them and family members, et cetera. And I've reported on cults before, and I thought it was important to make sure that we understand that, supporting Donald Trump is not, in fact, a cult. It is a political ideology. It's the dominant political ideology. Voting for Trump does not mean you're a member of a cult. But I met with these people. I met with a group of 5 of them.
Where?
In Fort Lauderdale, which is where the group is based. There are corners of MAGA that are, in fact, very cult-like. And we're talking about the way that Trump is reshaping the physical world. He has also completely reshaped the worldview of many people in this country in a way that is not concerned with empirical truth, right? And so when you spend years of your life in a place like that, a headspace like that, and then suddenly something causes you to reassess it, it's not easy to suddenly transition out of that. So, let's play a little bit of the interview that I did so that we can talk about it. So let's listen to that and then talk on the other side. Hearing you guys talk about MAGA and about supporting Trump, it sounds like you're talking often about like a cult that's damaging.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We all have a need for community. Our species yearns for a communal existence. And what MAGA does provide is a place where people feel seen and heard and recognized, and some of their very valid fears and concerns are acknowledged and validated. We used to say, we're not in the cult, the outside world is the cult, and we're not the crazies, the outside world are the crazies.
So just to add a little bit more detail to that, one of the people you saw in that group for a long time was deep in the online tradwife subculture. One of the women you saw in that group, she actually believed in household voting, like the idea that women shouldn't vote, instead their husbands should vote on their behalf. That's how deep some of these people go. So extracting themselves from that is difficult. The thing that I think is really, really interesting about this, just a detail given the election results in New York, a lot of these folks, when they stopped voting for Trump, they didn't go to conventional Democrats. They went towards democratic socialists. One of them is campaigning for Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan. They're huge Mamdani fans, right? So there's really interesting dynamic going on.
There's an interest in system disruption, which I think we've understood, that there's a populism that is rising globally that is bigger than any single figure. But I also thought there was another interesting part of the conversation that you had with all of these folks, and that was about their media consumption and how once their media consumption changed, so did a lot of their thinking. Let's play that sound, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
And they made me watch a documentary on January 6th, and I didn't even know what happened on January 6th prior to the PBS documentary. And I looked at him and I said, Scott, did that really happen? And he was like, where have you been?
It's so hard for people, because I said it's not that you're dumb, you were fooled. That's incredibly hard to admit.
We are in the United States of algorithms right now, and MAGA media is very efficacious, it's very effective, and it's very disciplined.